People need an income that's guaranteed to them.
If you lose money to taxes, you're never getting that money back.
You need to get serious about adding some lower risk.
Greed. I don't like greed.
The thing to be afraid of, honestly, is the thing that we're not thinking of, the black swan event.
There's a tsunami coming. Bye.
Welcome to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers.
Just coffee talk.
There's a lot of noise, a lot of chatter. Who do you listen to? Who do you not listen to? You have to stay focused.
A fun and informative look at the issues of wealth, retirement, and protecting your life savings.
These advisors out there that were trained to sell, and have all these fees, they don't want to talk about this product, so they make less money.
And now, Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers.
Hello again, and welcome to Retirement Coffee Talk with Charisse Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. My name is Randy Cook, and each week, Charisse and I sit down here and kind of go through some of the issues that people are coming in and saying, hey, can you help me with my retirement? And then we bring those issues up on the show. They might be the same things you're thinking, and that's why we bring them to the table. Charisse, how are you doing today?
I am doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm all right. It's been a calm week. Yeah, I haven't been running like with my hair on fire this week, so I'm feeling pretty good about that because certainly the holidays are not far away and it's coming.
I know. And I had a fun week where I did a lot of speaking this past week, and one of them I spoke at the Live to Lead talking about habit stacking and my crazy habits that I do in the mornings, but what successful people do around the world, and it's just a collection of habits. So that was really fun. And next thing you know, the next day I see people at the coffee shop. I'm like, okay, so we're going to talk about habit stacking and finance here soon. Oh. So it made me think of, okay, we can apply this to financial planning too.
Sounds like a good podcast list to me.
I know.
Okay. All right. Well, we are going to talk, since we're in the holidays here, going to talk a little bit about food, but in a completely different way. All right. Charisse, do you like an Oreo every now and then? Oreo cookies?
I will eat Oreos every day if I was allowed. Wait a minute. When Oreos are on sale at the grocery store, I'm driving 100 miles an hour to get there. Make sure I get my fair share when they're buy one, get one free.
Well, if you are an Oreo aficionado, you will notice that in the Oreo section, many times they have specialty Oreos, and they're out there for just a couple of weeks. So we have a little agreement here at work. If you see one of those packages, you buy it, you bring it in, and we all test it, and we all rate it, and we put it on our little list. Right now, we have 39 different flavors of Oreos on our list.
You have that many?
Yeah. Pretty crazy, isn't it?
Wow, that's amazing.
But I found out number 40. Here we go. Are you ready for the holiday Thanksgiving Oreo package here? You're going to see this. It's going to be a tin, and it's going to look like an Oreo. And inside, there will be 12 cookies. It'll cost $20 for 12 cookies. Why is this so crazy? All right. So 2 of the cookies are going to have the same deal. So you're going to get 2 dinners here. You will have a cookie, 2 cookies, one that tastes like turkey and gravy, another that tastes like sweet potato, another that tastes like cream corn. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Then we have apple caramel pie, pumpkin pie, and cranberry sauce. You have your Thanksgiving meal right there in an Oreo cookie.
I'm not sure.
Come on, Charisse, are you in?
For $20 and a cookie? I want my Oreo to taste like an Oreo. I don't want it to taste like turkey and gravy. For $20, 12 cookies? What?
I don't want to.
They could have said candy corn.
Yeah.
They said cream of corn. If it was candy corn, I'm like, I might go buy that thing.
Yeah, but not cream corn. I'm not.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this is a millennial marketing strategy, and actually, it's quite fantastic. I'll be honest with you. It's all about marketing because you know what? I'm probably going to go buy it. And guess what? There's yahoos like us all over the country talking about, can you believe this turkey and gravy Oreo? And now how many listeners? We got hundreds of thousands of listeners now across the country. And they're going to be like, well, Charisse is going to get it. I better just try it. So we're talking about it. And it's always the buzzword. So it's the buzzword. So they're going to sell the heck out of it. And then we're all going to dislike it. And then they're going to take it off the shelf. And then we're going to be back to our regular Oreos. So we're going to appreciate them. Like, oh gosh, the regular Oreos are back. Thank God. Let's go buy those now. There's a strategy here. These millennials are smart in marketing.
Sometimes the marketing is a little better than the product. And I got a feeling that is what we have here. So in everything that Charisse and I talk about, we bring it back to finances. And I know that there are things in the financial world that have been marketed that on the outside look pretty good, but then when you actually use them, maybe not so much. Can you think of anything like that?
Oh, there's a lot to talk about here, Randy.
All righty.
Where would you like me to start is the question.
Well,
I guess I could start with like funds, like mutual funds, target funds, those types of things.
I bet target date funds, because target date funds were marketed as they put a year on them. You say, oh, that's near my retirement. And then it's going to get less risky as it gets toward your retirement. And that sounds like a really good thing. But
let's talk about that.
But in practice, it hasn't worked out that way, has it?
Right. It's actually quite the anomaly to me. So let's say you're going to retire in 5 years. Okay. You're probably in a target retirement date 30 fund, 2030. Right. That means from this point forward, 2025, all the way to 2030, every year your portfolio is going to get more conservative, which means you're going to have more bonds because you're getting closer to your horizon and you're about to retire. But a lot of people think, okay, that's great. This is going to take all the risk off the table. And it's not the case. There's still tons of risk in those target retirement date funds. And the next question you have to ask yourself, if the markets grow for the next 3 years, is that really what you want to do? Right? If we're having turbulence, yeah, it makes sense. If we know for sure we're going to go into crash territory. No, I don't think any of us think that. I think we have growth in the market over the next 3 years. I think that we'll have some volatility along the way, but you have a 75% probability that the market will be higher at the end of next year than it is where it is. And that's every year. So target retirement date funds also have just fees that I don't appreciate. They're like 0.75 to 1.25. I've seen them as high as 1.5%. So they're doing nothing. They're just adding more bonds. And when interest rates go up, bond values go down. Right now, interest rates are going down. So bond values are going up. So it actually works well. But let's say you don't retire for 5 years, and 2 years from now, which will likely happen, interest rates will probably slowly go up. Then your bond values go down. You've almost lost everything that you made over those 2 years. So I call it a wash account sometimes. So target date funds you need to be very careful with. They sound great, but they're not that great. I'd rather you in those 401ks, you have a very small menu. That's the unfortunate part. Some of you might only have those, and which I feel for you, and I'm so sorry. But most of those companies do have target retirement date funds, and they have mutual funds, which you all know I'm not a big fan of mutual funds because they're heavy in fees and commissions. But when you're in a 401k, we still got to go with the best angle that you can get. And so we do encourage people to bring their 401k statements in from their employers. Let us help you pick the mutual funds. Let's get away from these target date funds because there's definitely more fees in there on average than not.
All right. Other things.
So that's one.
Other things that you have seen that sound good on the outside, but maybe not so good in practice.
I got one. I was just talking to somebody about it. Long-term care, literally just a couple of days ago, I was doing a workshop. And I get a little passionate and heated up. I can do that a little bit more in a workshop than I do on radio. All
right.
And we were talking about the long-term care section. I'm like, you're going to come into my office and you might want long-term care. And I'm going to talk you off the ledge because I was the firm that sold you John Hancock, Genworth, Mass Mutual, because, hey, if we're going to protect our homes and buy insurance, why aren't we protecting our finances and our health when we have to go into elder planning? Lo and behold, 20 years later, those premiums have doubled on some of my clients, or at least gone up at least 150%, which is higher. I'm thrown off by it because it doesn't make any sense to me that companies do that. We should have just dumped that money into a life insurance policy that guaranteed premiums never to go up and just accelerated the death benefit. So that's one of those smoke and mirror things that has not panned out for most people, and they wasted so much money. And I was just doing it because, and our team and all the advisors across the country, because we thought that you needed to protect your health care. But now that I know what I know and I'm using software that I've rejiggered, I will say 8 out of 10 people who come into my office, they don't even need to worry about long-term care. And so it just took me all these years to figure it out. And so sometimes things aren't quite what they seem to be, right, Randy?
Exactly. So, I mean, with my mom, that was the one bill at the end of the year that she just hated to pay. And I told her, that's the most important. Well, you're into it. You got to keep going. But it was $2,500, then it was $3,000, then $3,500, then $4,000. It would go up $500 a year. And sometimes they're going up a lot more. And what happens with people is they can't afford it anymore, and then they just cancel it. And then all that money that you've paid is down the tubes. So, all right, talking about things here that sound good on the outside, but maybe not so good as you put them into practice. Anything else that you can think of financially?
We can go into Social Security.
Okay.
Most people feel like they have to take Social Security at 62. Some other people out there feel like, oh, we got to wait till age 70. And there's pros and cons to both of them, honestly. And you have to have a written plan to figure this out. You can't just guess. You can't just collect at 62 because your dad did, your neighbor Bubba did. You have to actually create a plan, because when you collect at 62, you are getting penalized. You're not getting 100% of what's entitled to you. So you're taking a shortcut to do that. And like Dave Ramsey says, oh, take it early and then you can just reinvest it. Most people are not responsible enough to reinvest it. And then if the market goes down, then that did you no good. And if you live to age 85, you are better off waiting, because that's where the cash flow really comes in. Now, if you pass away at 75, you probably should have taken it at 62, be honest with you. But people are living longer than ever. And so the next one is age 70. So a lot of people come in like, hey, we're going to wait to age 70 to collect Social Security. And we'll put it in their plan. And I let them know, I'm like, why would we wait to 70? What if your health doesn't sustain and we pass away early? And we do ask those health questions because it's really important to know where they're at and what their parents went through. Because at age 67, that's when you get 100% of your Social Security benefit. If you delay taking Social Security at age 70, you do get an average of 7-8% a year. It brings in a bigger check. So somebody who has a pension and has all this cash flow, does it make sense? Does it not make sense? But let's just say that you and your spouse worked, you don't have a pension, you had maybe saved $500,000 and you just need more for later because somebody passes away early. You might want to reconsider a different plan. And so it's not cookie cutter, but I will say that there's mass confusion on when to collect Social Security, whether it's 62 or really should I wait till 67 or should I wait till 70? But on average, I don't advise people to wait till 70 anymore.
Yeah. You're listening to Retirement Coffee Talk with Sharice Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. This is one of the reasons I think it's really important to have a financial advisor in your life, because these things come up and you're going to hear some things, you're going to read some things, and you're going to say, I need somebody to bounce this off. And if you've got Sharice right there in your corner, it's just a phone call away. 833-368-3680 is our number, and you can go there and get a date on a calendar. Let's do the math on your retirement, as we say, and do what we call a portfolio x-ray. See what you've done for retirement, what it's going to mean for you in income, what it's going to mean for you in taxes. Let's get it figured out and down on paper. 833-368-3680, or just use our website, which is zinniawealth.com, ZINNIA wealth.com. There's a gold box there. It says complimentary retirement consultation. Click on that. You'll be on your way. Well, as long as we're talking about 401ks, you and I have had lots of discussions about moving money from your employer 401k and then moving it over to your own IRA. As you said, you've got a lot of more choices. You know, you might have 10 right now. You'll have thousands if you put it in your own IRA. Well, Vanguard now says there's plenty of people that are doing that as they get near retirement, but then it just sits. 28% of people who roll over stay in cash for at least 7 years. So I kind of get it. It's like you're taking money from a risk bucket, your 401k, and now you're going to put it in your own IRA, and you're thinking, I'm going from risk to risk. And then suddenly they give you this pot of money, which is all in cash that doesn't get affected by the market. And it kind of makes you feel good when the market goes down 800 points.
Right.
But is that going to sustain the growth that you need in your retirement years? Sharice, what are the options for somebody who's risk adverse and they kind of like the cash, but they know they need growth?
I know. So cash is a tough place to be. I mean, what are you going to make? 4%?
Tops. Yeah.
I mean, inflation, it's here, right? Even though they brought it down, everything costs more. So I know I'm speaking to the conservative people out there, because this is why you have that in cash. So many people have too much money in cash. Most very conservative people out there, Randy, we have to ask a couple of questions. If you lost, let's say you had $1 million and you lost 10%, that means you lost $100,000.
Yeah.
How are you going to react? And those conservative people are like, you're fired, right? I mean, that's how they think.
Okay.
And so we have to be very careful. So I know cash is king, but there are other alternatives out there where you can have market growth without shoving it all into cash. I know CDs, it's that feel good money, right? CDs are there, the money markets are there, and interest rates are going down. So those things are starting to go down, but you got to keep up with inflation and you have to start making money. And we're in this prime opportunity to make money over the next couple of years. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in the next couple of years, right? And then I would consider some of the alternatives out there. Like, for example, we have these 1 and 2 year notes where you can make money potentially when the market goes down and you make money when the market goes up, right? Those are, in my opinion, rather conservative. The other alternatives are the indexing strategies with the insurance companies. You can't lose. There's no fees. And on top of it, you get to invest in the S&P 500. That is a no-brainer. So if you are fearful of going to the market and you're heavy in cash, those are the 2 items I would consider adding to a portfolio, to be honest with you, because now we potentially could be making 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10% on average. And so I prefer to take some cash out of that pot and then have like 3 pots of cash equivalents, built-in safety, right? And bonds can be safe. Like right now, I would consider bonds to be in a good arena of safety because when interest rates go down, bond values go up, but that doesn't last. So bonds are not as safe as they used to be. And if you go back to 2007, 8, and 9, when the market crashed, I mean, bonds on average lost between 20 and 26%. So again, they can lose too. They just lose less. So we want to be very cautious about how much cash we have, Randy.
Well, you've said this in the past, and that is that you can be in the stock market, but you can be lower risk in the stock market. You don't have to be in high-flying tech stocks or hedge funds or chasing headlines. There are places within the market that you can move into that doesn't have that huge wobble or jiggle, as you like to say, back and forth. And what do you call it? Standard deviation. That's a big financial word for the swing back and forth. You don't have to have that if you don't want it.
You really don't. And it's interesting because we do actively traded portfolios here. So every month at any time we can trade your portfolio, and it's actively done in our exchange traded fund strategy. And I had a client call in and she's kind of a risk taker, but she's also conservative. And she said, Sharice, I noticed that in my 60-40 portfolio, a few more percentage points went to cash equivalents. Why'd you do that? I'm like, well, there's a lot of volatility on the horizon. All the charts are blowing up. And so what we did, we reduced the reins from the risky stuff in short order. And I said, in the next couple of weeks, we very well might go back in. But as long as we're seeing these charts light up the way they are, which is a negative light, right? It's like red, red, red. We're going to stay there. And, we won't get rich there. But, if our cash equivalents are making, 3 and 4%, when the market goes down, we have permission to sell their accounts to cash equivalents 100% or 50%, depending on, what they decided. And she went, oh yeah, that's why I pay you. You know what? I feel so much better now. And you just have to remind our clients, this is why we're doing this. And, we're not trying to get rich here, right? I just want to make sure our clients don't get poor. And so sprinkle in some of the index strategies, some of the notes, some of the cash equivalents, some of the active strategies, some buy and hold. So we have those high flyers in our portfolio as long as you can manage that risk, of course. So it's very, very diversified. And it's people, I haven't gotten any calls. I got the one only because we went to cash, not because we were losing, which is great.
You're listening to Retirement Coffee Talk with Sharice Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, ZinniaWealth.com, ZINNIA Wealth.com. Go there right now, and you'll see a gold box that says Complimentary Retirement Consultation. That's a meeting, and it's a free meeting. It's a no obligation, no cost meeting to sit down and talk about your retirement and the things that concern you. And let's get all those questions out on the table, and let's get them answered. 833-368-3680. Again, 833-368-3680 or online, ZinniaWealth.com. All right, so this is RMD time. And if you don't know what that is, that means you're probably not doing it right now. That means when you reach the age of 73, Uncle Sam says, okay, you can't defer those taxes anymore. It's time for you to dip into that 401k so Uncle Sam can get his taxes. And he tells you how much you're supposed to take. So that usually happens in December. You're busy doing that right now. My question for you is, should people take just what Uncle Sam tells you to take? Should they take a little bit more? I read one article that says maybe you should take a little bit more because draining that account a little bit will mean fewer taxes in the future. So how do you figure that calculation out, and what's your advice there, Sharice?
Should you take just what Uncle Sam tells you? So if you are 73 and you have $1 million saved, you're going to be taking, close to $37,000.
Right.
But what if you come in and we do a full-blown written plan for you, like very well done written plan for you, and our written plan says, okay, you actually need to take $15,000 more to live your lifestyle in retirement. And if you only have IRAs, then you can continue to pull from your IRAs. You don't have to take just what Uncle Sam tells you to take. We take what we need to take, but based on our written income plan, we show you, do we run out of money or do we not, basically. And so everybody's going to be a little bit different. But in reality, Randy, I get a few clients like that. If you've saved $1 million, I would say an average about $700,000 to $800,000 is in your IRA. And then we see an average of 100, maybe 150 in your brokerage account. And then we see like a small portion in the Roth. So if we are rolling IRAs over to a Roth, we probably don't want to take any more money out than we need to from the IRA because we're rolling it to a Roth IRA. And then we'll probably live on the other items that are available. So it just depends on what you've saved and in what tax bucket you've saved in. So it's not cookie cutter. It gets a little bit complex. So I would say make sure whoever you're working with, if you have a financial advisor in retirement or you're prepping for retirement, they actually understand these buckets, these tax buckets, and where you want to go with those tax buckets. Do you want to offload the IRA bucket and put more into Roth? Do you have enough Social Security and pension coming in that you actually don't even need to live on your money? If that's the case, then you can probably do a lot of rollovers. But just remember, when you roll IRAs over to a Roth, you got to pay the taxes, right? And most people, you stop the brakes at that point. When you come in, we're going to show you what this looks like for not just the next 5 years, 10 years, what it looks like for the next 30 years and what it looks like to your beneficiaries. I think it's key to understand, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? And for the first time in your life, you're going to see it on paper. So we're going to do that tax written plan for you also. So it's not as, I can't really answer that on radio, but it's something you should definitely come in to figure out. Now, the next question is, if you need more to live on, should you take a little bit more from there or the other place? Well, we just answered that question.
Sure.
It depends where you've saved. If you haven't saved anywhere else but your 401ks, then you're just going to have to pull from there. But let's just make sure that we double check and stress test your retirement plan, that you don't run out based on what you need.
Should you take a little bit more to drain that account a little bit to help you with taxes in the future?
Right. So if you're somebody that literally you're up against the ceiling and you're about to turn 73 and you're forced to pull money out, it is a hard story to say, hey, here's your tax plan. You have to take this RMD every year, but now we're going to roll another $20,000 to $50,000 a year of your RMD over to a Roth. It's a harder story to convey because the tax break is not as big. So if we can roll IRAs over to Roth before you turn 73, it's helpful. But I will say 1 out of 3 people, I would say if you're 73, it doesn't make sense. I'm very shocked when the 2 out of 3, it does make sense actually, based on what they have saved and what they actually want to do with their money. Some people said, you know what, Sharice, I'm going to let my kids pay the taxes and I'm not going to do the rollover. Some people was like, I don't want to leave this tax debt to my kiddos and I want to leave it tax free. So they want to do it. So it depends on your rhyme and reason. So when you come in, let's make sure we're stress testing your retirement plan, your income plan, your Social Security plan, your long-term care plan. But this is a really important phase of life. This RMD stress testing plan is key. It could make or break the future, not just for you, but your surviving spouse, but also your kids. And you will be giving, I'm going to tell you, if you don't come in, I'm going to show you the math. Your kids will be giving more back to Uncle Sam, your partner, in all this than you want them to. And so this is what we want to do. We want to show it to you. And at least you can be proactive now in case you don't want that to happen.
You're listening to Retirement Coffee Talk with Sharice Rivers at Zinnia Wealth. Online, zinniawealth.com. If it's time to talk about your 401k and the options that you have, or maybe you've never really had a financial advisor and now all of a sudden you're up against RMDs and you go, oh, I need some help here. That's okay. Give Sharice a call. 833-368-3680. 833-368-3680. Or the website, of course, zinniawealth.com. ZINNIA wealth.com. There's a gold box there. It says complimentary retirement consultation. You click on that, you'll be on your way. Let's get a date on a calendar before the end of the year. Sharice, that is all the time we have on this one. I'll give you the last word.
Well, thank you all for tuning in go out and get those Oreos. I'm going to beat you to the chase, though. So I'm going to report back and let you know here soon what came of it. But as usual, hey, tune into our podcast. If you missed something, we talked a lot about taxes and 401ks, RMDs today. Go to our podcast. We are on all podcast outlets, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, even your Apple phones, etc. And hit the rewind button. Live by design and not by default. And we'll see you here next week.
This has been Retirement Coffee Talk. To find out more about how the strategies we've discussed on this program can build the retirement you've been wanting, call Zinnia Wealth at 352-368-3680 or visit us online at zinniawealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, a registered investment advisor. The firm only conducts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded from registration requirements. Registration is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Insurance products are offered through Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC, Florida license L078655, and Sharice Rivers, Florida license P037744. Zinnia Wealth Advisory, LLC, and Zinnia Wealth Management, LLC are affiliated entities. The information presented is believed to be current. It should not be viewed as personalized investment advice. All expressions of opinion reflect the judgment of the presenter on the date of the podcast and are subject to change. The information presented is not an offer to buy or sell or a solicitation of any offer to buy or sell any of the securities discussed. You should consult with a professional advisor before implementing any of the strategies discussed. Any legal or tax information provided in this podcast is general in nature. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation. Any client experience discussed on this show are unique to that client. Annuity and life insurance guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. If you withdraw money from or surrender your contract within a certain time after investing, the insurance company may assess a surrender charge. Withdrawals may be subject to tax penalties and income taxes. Persons selling annuities or other insurance products receive compensation for these transactions. These commissions are separate and distinct from fees charged for advisory services. Insurance products also contain additional fees and expenses. Social Security rules and regulations are subject to change at any time. Always consult with your local Social Security office before acting upon any information provided herein. References to specific investments should not be construed as being past specific recommendations. The returns for various indices discussed in this podcast do not represent the performance of the firm or any of its advisory clients. Returns do not reflect the impact that advisory fees will have on an investment. Past performance may not be indicative of future results. All investment strategies have potential for profit or loss. Different types of investments involve higher and lower levels of risk. There is no guarantee that a specific investment strategy will be suitable or profitable for an investor's portfolio. Historical performance returns for investment indexes and/or categories usually do not deduct transaction and/or custodial charges or advisory fees, which would decrease historical performance results. There are no guarantees that a portfolio will match or outperform a specific benchmark. Investments in fixed income products are subject to liquidity risk, market risk, index rate risk, credit risk, inflation risk, purchasing power risk, and taxation risk. Because bond prices fluctuate continually, their yields change constantly.